What's popping? I'm back. You know who it is. It's Logan, a.k.a. Logie Boo Not the Two, a.k.a. Real One of the Week, a.k.a. I'm back. We had a great show today. I can't lie. It was great to get in the lab with everyone. We talked about all things preview for the NBA season. Are the Houston Rockets going to be good? Who's our sleeper out west? Is there even a sleeper in the Eastern Conference because of how terrible it's going to be? We talked about all of that. We ragged on each other. Apparently Howard and Raja don't think they're baddies as we're going into this Netflix deal. They're really scared about this, about being on camera. Not the kid. I'm out here. You see this face? It's made for prime time. All that's next on The Real Ones. Cliff, play the theme music.
What's poppin'? Real Ones. Logan Murdock here. Raja Bell there. Howard Beck is also here. Cliff in the motherfucking cut. Victoria on the video. Good to see you guys. You know, I haven't seen Raja or talked to Raja in a long time. I've been in contact with Beck a little bit. Have been talking a lot to Cliff and Victoria over the last 9 weeks.
Missed you, buddy. Welcome back.
Missed you too, man. You got a nice little setup. You know, I was not expecting the mic stand.
Like that, right?
I'm happy for you, buddy.
Thank
I'm
you.
really happy.
Did you do that yourself, Raja?
Thank you. Yeah, I put all this shit together, bro. But I can't get my Bluetooth headphones to work, so what are you going to do, man? I'm old school, man. Give me a cord. Just give me a cord.
I think Raja averaged maybe like 2 technical issues per month during the time you've been gone, Logan. Right? It's about right about that.
You guys have only had like four shows.
It's every day. Every day I come to every day.
I was being generous.
On. Yeah, thank you, Howard. I appreciate that. But there's no shame in my game. Every time I come to this computer, okay, I got the little earbuds. I love them. Right? For some reason, this computer doesn't remember them. So, in order to get them to sync, and I get it, everyone's going to tell me I'm done. But I've tried everything. I've got to forget them and then run the risk of the computer not picking them up when I try to resync, which is what happened today.
Okay. And what you guys missed.
So I don't know what to say other than like.
Okay. Before we get to the season preview episode, because this is a season preview episode, I just would wish everybody could have seen Raja using a pen to hit the button on his wireless headphones to reset them. I've never seen that before in my life. So, you know, the Washed Award of 2025 and beyond goes to Raja Bell.
Just wait until we get on Netflix starting in January. Big news for the Ringer this week. And we're going to need all new setups. God only knows what stuff we're all going to have to like try to incorporate. I know my home setup here needs a massive upgrade to say the least.
Raja, were you aware that we're going on Netflix?
Ready.
Netflix? What? This is no.
Did you? I knew he did. I knew he wasn't even going to see it. We're going to. The announcement came out.
What is that? Like
Spotify and Netflix have come together, and starting in January, we are going to be appearing. Our podcast is going to be exclusively on Netflix for video content, twice a week, sir. The full episode. We're taking them. I don't know if I'm supposed to. Oh, I think it's on the release. We're taking it off of YouTube,
Netflix,
and putting it exclusively on Netflix. So new setups on the way.
Yeah, I love YouTube too, but
the world is not ready. The world is not ready for us in 4K Ultra HD. Certainly not ready for me in 4K. Please, listeners, I'm begging you, do not put me on your like fucking 60-inch flat screen TV. Like it's just.
What are you talking about? No, absolutely put him on the 60-inch, dog. We need as much people watching as we possibly can. We're gonna see your bright dome on fucking Netflix.
Dude, this face was made for iPhones at max, maybe even a BlackBerry.
Man, let me just say a second, Howard. Nah. Because
for me or for you?
No, this is for me and you, for both of us. I come on here every time, and I'm like, is this shit Riverside or is it Zoom? Because Zoom, I get a nice little filter, like it takes some of this shit out. So when I see like Zoom, I'm like lightweight excited. I'm like, okay, yeah.
All right, man. As the resident baddie of the bunch, I will be on screen the whole time. You know, that's fine. Don't even worry about them. Just put me on. You can hear their voices. I'm going to be.
You're young. You don't got all these wrinkles and things that might be exposed in fucking high def. So No.
I don't know who's. That sounds like a personal problem to me. Anyways,
as you guys can see
as you guys can see and hear, we are in mid-season form. So we got to welcome another person to the gang. No, it's not Victoria. She is very camera shy, but it is Cliffy Bo. Cliffy Bowl, Cliff, straight out of Philly. Real quick context. Yesterday, me and Victoria and Cliff were on a video chat just discussing this episode, and Cliff was taking it from under a freeway overpass in Philly, and it looked a little treacherous. Are you okay, buddy? Are you fully recovered? Did you get to where you needed to go in a safe manner?
It wasn't a freeway overpass though. It was a train. The subway. Well, technically, the subway has an overpass where you have to get street level and then go back down. So that's what it was. I'm never scared in Philly, bro. Like, I'm good. I'm good out here.
Okay. All right. Excuse me.
He does have bars on his windows in the background.
That's to keep it safe.
That's to keep it safe?
I'm just saying.
That's to keep it safe.
Those bars are going to be in 4K HD starting in January.
I'm good out here, man. I'm good in Philly, man. Everybody knows me, so I'm straight, man. I'm set up good out here. You know what I mean? Howard, I'm good, man. Don't worry about me, brother.
I'm not worried about you. I'm just saying.
Thank you, Howard. Thank you. However, I do appreciate the concern. I know the bars and all that. I live on the first floor, so you know what I mean, you can't just be having nobody peeking through your windows trying, you know what I mean, pop in, see what's going on. But you know, that'd be a nightmare for them, honestly. So I'm good.
Ooh. Shit. Okay.
So we good.
All right. What we doing, Cliff? What we got going today? What's going on?
We got the season preview questions, right? Beck, you ready for this? The season preview questions. Roger, you ready for this?
It's my favorite day of the year.
You know what I'm saying? Season kicks off next week. I need that energy, man. I need y'all to get up. I need like, come on.
Joel Embiid making his debut tonight.
Yes. Basketball is back in Philly. Joel Embiid is making his debut. Paul George is practicing again, but he won't be in the season opener again. So there's that. But speaking of the Eastern Conference, let's start off with the first question, shall we? Let's go. All right, let's see. Logan, of course, had to write this one in. So who will be the best team in the Eastern Conference and why I want to be the Philadelphia 76ers?
I wrote
that.
That
was gratuitous, Logan.
I wrote that. Did I write that?
That was just, you were just being mean for no reason.
Well, to be fair, Cliff was supposed to choose the questions. He could have very easily chosen not.
He could have edited.
But that was the first one. No, but that was the first one. And then you had to go in there and then you have to talk crap about the Sixers for some odd reason. I don't know why, even though the Sixers do got a nice shot this year. But, you know what I mean? I know you, man. This is how you do. This is how you operate.
Okay, man. I think, you want me to answer the question first? Am I the one to answer?
Please.
Logan, you've been off, man. You got to have a bunch of stuff saved up from like 2 months. Go for it. It's all you.
Sure. Yeah, like there was like so much happening during the 2 months I was gone. It was just so much. The best team probably going to be the Knicks on paper, right? They got much to Cliff's chagrin. And the reason why I don't trust, if your two top players are Joel Embiid and Paul George, just don't trust them to, you know, go deep in the playoffs or do anything for that matter. And then you put the injuries on top of that. You put the institution on top of that. I just don't believe in the team. Sorry, I just don't know what to say. Cliff tried to feign like confidence when I asked him about the Sixers earlier, and I don't believe him. There's nothing to believe in with this team, and their infrastructure is currently stated. It feels like they're a team between two eras at this point. If Embiid can stay healthy, they'll be good. But even if he does stay healthy, what does he do in the playoffs? Anybody? Can you give me a refresher on that, Cliff? No, you can't. It's fine because this is going to break your heart. That's why I am not high on the Sixers, and I'm not going to fall for that narcotic this season. God bless Philly.
So your answer was New York.
My answer was New York, yes.
I think it's Cleveland, actually. It is a 2-team race in the East, I think. I know everybody's like getting real giddy about Orlando and Atlanta. I'll talk about Philly later. Logan, you missed like an entire summer of me going hard contrarian and hard optimist on Philly as Cliff is nodding in agreement. And it's not a bit, I believe it, but we'll get back to that at a different point. I do think the Cavs, though their postseason flameouts kind of concern me. Part of that this last spring was definitely injury related. But just on paper, if this is New York versus Cleveland, it's a toss up, but Cleveland better across the board defense, better two-way bigs, more shot creation with Garland and Mitchell than you get with Brunson and fill in the blank, right? Like,
Right.
I do think Mike Brown has already made this offense more interesting and dynamic. We'll see what the results ultimately are in the regular season. I think there are things you can do through Mikal Bridges and things you can do through Karl Anthony Towns, but I just think two pure shot creators who can do anything possible with the ball in their hands. Cleveland has two. The Knicks have Brunson, on whom they've been over-reliant, and they're trying to wean themselves a little. But, like, I don't know that a bunch of Mikal Bridges and, like, now Jordan Clarkson is going to, like, be enough there. So I just think there's, like, a couple little things that the Cavs have a little bit better than the Knicks. But I don't think it's, like, some big gap.
Yeah, I mean, it's a toss-up for sure. I think what I do trust with the Knicks that I don't know if I necessarily trust with the Cavaliers is the level of toughness required if they're playing against each other in a postseason matchup, right? And that does come with inconsistencies, right? Like Karl Towns is somebody that can get you big numbers as he did in the playoffs last year, but like in closeout games, he can earn, as the series goes on, he can wane from a series. So I don't doubt it, but I do feel like we're splitting hairs there. I don't think there's a wrong answer either way. What do you think, Raja? You want to talk about the Sixers first, or do you want to talk about who's the best team in the Eastern Conference?
I mean, however you guys would like it. I think you guys both are on the right track. I would lean Cleveland like Howard, but I would also acknowledge the point you just made about the Knicks, their grittiness, their toughness. If they got their paws on them in a series, I could see that not playing out well for Cleveland, right? But I think regular season, I'd probably lean towards Cleveland. The Sixers is, after you get through those two teams, like the East, I put Detroit in an interesting category. There's some teams I put in that next tier, but like the Sixers, if healthy, and if firing on all cylinders, could be really dangerous in the Eastern Conference. That you can't count on any of that. That's the problem with them, right? Like you can't count on their health. You can't count on, organizationally they'll get it right. And so that's really scary. I would just say, while I don't put a lot of stock in the Sixers, I would not be surprised if someone took a flyer bet on Philadelphia and they captured health in a bottle, if you will. They could be a real dangerous team in that Eastern Conference.
Yeah.
And that's all I'm saying about the Sixers. Like, if they're healthy, and I know that, like, they're like, cue the fucking laugh track every time we say if they're healthy, but Embiid, Paul George, and Tyrese Maxey.
We getting lit.
Embiid, Georgia, Maxey, plus, McCain, Edgecombe, everybody else. Like, I don't think anybody wants to face that team at full strength in late April. Yeah. And I actually think, as much as we're all like, oh, look what the Hawks can do, look at what the Magic can do, Sixers could finish top 4 in the East. I don't think that's a crazy statement. I know that sounds like this ludicrous, like fucking just zag at this point. I don't think so. Like there's a scenario here.
Question though, real quick: is the Eastern Conference, like whoever finishes fourth, are they gonna is it gonna take like 45 wins to get to fourth place? What is that?
Yeah, it may be a low bar. It may be a low. Yeah. No, maybe like 48. But it's not going to be like, we're not seeing like 450 win teams.
It's gonna be like 28 wins to get you in a play-in or some shit like that. Just
let's not get crazy.
All right. What's the next question?
All right. Keeping it in the Eastern Conference. Who is your Eastern Conference sleeper? Raj, I want to go to you to this one because you was talking high about my Sixers. So could they be a sleeper in the Eastern Conference?
Yes, but like they're not going to be the team I pick. I think the high-end talent is there if they're healthy. When you're talking about the Maxies, the Embiids, the Paul Georges, I think everyone could see that if that's healthy and everything's working well. So I wouldn't necessarily consider them a sleeper. I think I probably take the Hawks. I think as a sleeper team, interesting to see which way that goes because you can see it playing out really well. I like the addition of Kristaps. I like the addition of Nickeil Alexander Walker. They're long. When you're building teams around AI, let's say, to use a Sixer reference, when you've got a relatively small guard that does a lot of your scoring, playmaking, and stuff like that, you've got to get the recipe. I always talk about the recipe right around them: length, defensive prowess, those abilities. Shooting the ball is going to be interesting for them, but I do think they could be a very interesting team. They'll be my wild card probably in the Eastern Conference.
I mean, I already went hard on Philly, and I think saying that the Sixers could finish top 4, like that, by definition, I feel like that makes them my sleeper team pick. Because I think everybody's already written them off. Like, I think the whole world has basically just decided they're a joke. They're done. It's over. Embiid and Paul George are nothing more than albatross contracts, and the Sixers are over. Like, there's nothing to talk about. But also, it's like process of elimination here, guys. Like, Orlando and Atlanta, I didn't consider as sleepers because I think most people have them in the top 4 or 5 in the East anyway. Detroit was already a team on the rise. Milwaukee is always going to be hovering because of Giannis. And then it's like Boston, Indiana, everybody's writing off because of, gap year kind of stuff. Miami, hard to figure. Like Chicago, Toronto, Charlotte tier. I don't have any faith in those guys. And then, Brooklyn and Washington are like the bottom, of course. So like, I don't feel like there's a lot of candidates for a big leap in the East this year. So it's almost like Philly by default for me.
It was really hard to like choose this question
right?
For that reason, though, Howard, because it was like all the teams, like you said, are teams that should be in there. Like you talk about the Hawks, like I'm really high on the Hawks just for the simple fact of like where the Eastern Conference is right now. It's similar to how it was in 2021, just about albeit different circumstances in the Eastern Conference, because in 2021 you had a lot of teams that had a very small break after that bubble season, and the Hawks were able to take advantage of that. And I feel a similar way that they can take advantage of probably making the Eastern Conference Finals run if Trey does what he's supposed to do, if Kristaps stays healthy. They have some great defenders on that team. They got the Nickeil Alexander-Walker. That was a big pickup. I really like that pickup.
Yeah.
And it's just in an off year, you should be scared of the teams like the Hawks. So they were like my sleeper, but like to your point, it's hard whether it's like a 4-team race. I do like Orlando, and they kind of had like a bit of a prove it year this year, right? Because those rookie contracts are going to start coming to an end, right? They're going to have to really start choosing who they want to build around. Obviously, it's going to be Paolo, but they impressed last year with what they did with the roster that they had with all those injuries. This is kind of the prime year to come out and be a factor and show everybody what you want to be for the next 5 years. And I know some say they overpaid for Desmond Bane, but that's kind of what you got to do at this stage if you expect to be that good. So I guess I would pick the Hawks because I like them so much, but I'm not mad at Orlando if you pick that either.
Yeah, it was tough though, for the reasons you guys are saying. I mean, like those after. I mean, New York, Cleveland, you're into a whole group of teams that we could say if you picked them as the sleeper, you'd be like, they're not really a sleeper because they've been around, like, because Orlando's in the same mix, right? You're like, But then when you get to the bottom of that Eastern Conference, you're like, I don't know if I can really take a flyer on that. So it's
you're
always
not trying to take a flyer on Charlotte, Roger?
It's always going to be one of those teams out of that second tier, right? Like somebody that, so it's weird.
Also, by the way, like I'm looking at sleepers. I'm not thinking like sleeper necessarily to win the East. I'm just like sleeper, like who's going to surprise this year or who's going to make a big leap. Yeah, I don't know if you guys intended it more as like sleeper contender, because like I don't think we have sleeper contenders right now. Like I think we have like 2 teams in the West and 2 teams in the East, and that's the contender tier. And then there's a bunch of teams chasing them in each.
I would agree with that.
Absolutely, yeah.
The Ringer NBA show is brought to you by FanDuel. This NBA season is coming, and FanDuel is the place to let you play your game. They have everything you need to get ready for the season with tons of cool bets like season leaders, player specials, win totals, exact team outcomes, and so much more. And even better, you can parlay your favorite bets together for an even bigger payout. So take a flyer on the MVP race, crown your champion in October, or parlay your dark horse playoff picks. I think I'm going to go with Wemby for the MVP. I think I'm going to go with OKC for the best record in the league. And I think that I'm going to pick the Nuggets to win the title. Woo, that's a lot. Just visit FanDuel.com/RingerNBA today and start planning your futures now. FanDuel, play your game. Must be 21 years and older and present in select states, or 18 and older and present in D.C., Kentucky, or Wyoming. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit rg-help.com or call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut.
Let's switch it to the West Coast now. Who's your guys' Western Conference sleeper?
I got one.
Howard.
Okay, go ahead. Howard, you want to go?
Howard, I want to hear yours.
It's just tough, man, because like, all right, look, I'm going to just do this by tiers again. Oklahoma and Denver's the top tier.
That's your championship race right there. And
Right.
one of those two is going to win the West and then win the championship. You've got 5 teams that are chasing them that if things break right, maybe they're in the conference finals. That's Warriors, Wolves, Rockets, Lakers, Clippers. And there's like 3 more teams that are going to make the play-in, right? So Dallas, Memphis, San Antonio, we'll see. Sleeper in the West, this is going to sound like a reach, but this is not, I want to be clear.
Wait, don't take mine. Say what you're going to say.
Sounds like he's about to take mine too.
I think he's going to take mine. I think he's going to take mine.
Not a sleeper to win the West. Just a sleeper to be like
Say
better
it.
than
Just
expected.
say it. Just say it.
The New Orleans Pelicans.
Fuck! I was going to pick them.
You turned it to me first. You could have gone.
No, I could have gone. I picked New Orleans. I did pick New Orleans.
They've got a bunch of good players. I don't know how well it's going to fit. I don't know if Zion's going to play more than 25 games. I don't know if Jordan Poole's going to take 30 shots a game. I don't know how any of this is going to work out. By the way, best quote of the offseason, we talked about this a couple weeks ago in the pod. Jordan Poole, when they signed Kevon Looney, saying, I haven't had a good screen set for me in like 2 years or 3 years or whatever. Phenomenal. Awesome. Just great stuff.
Awesome.
They got a bunch like Herb Jones, Trey Murphy.
Trey Murphy had a good year last year.
Alvarado. Trey Murphy was on a tear before he got hurt. Like, there's just a lot of good players there. And I know we're clowning them because they've had some questionable moves in the offseason, but there's good players there. I don't know what it's going to turn into, but yeah, that's my sleeper. And apparently,
hey
Logan's.
man, 2-phone Joe Dumars, man, out here wheeling and dealing, baby.
One of the great all-time photos.
The thing that was hard, and the reason why I just chose New Orleans, because like there's a lot of established teams, right? Like if I can't choose Memphis, for instance, as my Western Conference sleeper, because there's in a world where like maybe it wouldn't be a surprise if they, just overcame expectations. But when I look at the New Orleans Pelicans, and this is probably going to be on our worst takes, probably, who cares? But I get a little Brooklyn Nets vibes from like 2019, like just a whole bunch of dudes that I kind of like, right? Like if Zion figures it out, right, and he plays 82 games and gets them, that team could win 49 games. I really truly believe that, right? One thing that I do want to like push back on before we get to Raja, I think we're giving the Warriors way too much right here, man. I think they need to bump down a tier a little bit, bro. They with their off season and the unction that's going on in the Bay Area, I'm not about to be out here.
There's unction?
Yeah.
What kind of unction?
Do you even know what an unction is, sir? Do you even know what the unction is? The unction was the podcast before. There was the podcast before I came back. It's old.
Okay. All right.
But and they have it, and their biggest off-season move. I know he's gonna. Raza next time he sees, he's gonna kick my ass. I already know what's gonna. I already know. I see the look in his eye.
Hurt too, motherfucker. Don't believe
that.
I
know. Hey, listen. I know over the last 9 weeks, bro, dad strength is a real thing. Dad strength is a real thing. But I'm just saying, like it's different. But no, I don't like their biggest offseason move was fucking Al Horford, who's somehow older than everyone on this chat. Like I'm not about to anoint them. They have to earn to get back on that tier. I don't think that they're
still better than 90% of the NBA.
90? Let's relax. You're Raven Ritter got you, Howard. Anyways, Raja, who's your sleeper?
Yes, he was interesting because you guys ran me off of my original sleeper because they fall into a category that the Hawks would fall into. For me, it was the Spurs. I didn't want to like double down on that. So like my number 2 in the Western Conference is from that bottom of the barrel, and I don't really have a great articulated argument for it. So maybe it's like a question to you guys more than it is like me trying to convince you. Everywhere Drew Holiday goes, everywhere he goes, they win. Or they win more than they did at least before he was there. He brings a lot of intangibles to a locker room. He brings a lot of tangibles to the court. He's just got a lot of the qualities that you need when you put together a group of relatively young pieces that don't have that like leadership component or direction. I think I've kind of convinced myself of Portland. Am I crazy for that?
I think you're a little crazy.
But I mean, not in terms of winning a championship, though, right?
Oh,
like
just
we're
like
talking about
building
a team
building it. Building
Yeah,
a structure.
being way better than expected. You mean just making
Correct.
making
Okay.
making a leap?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
The defense is there, but like offense and shot creation is a problem. And like, you know, Denny Avdia had this like phenomenal final kick to the season last year over the last 20 games, but like you got to always look a little bit skeptically at a guy having a big breakout in the last 20 games of a lost season where they're playing games that don't matter against a lot of other teams that are playing games that don't matter because it's down the stretch. But Denny Avdia looked really good. Scoot is hurt right now. You know, who else is Shaden Sharp going to take another leap? Like, I just
Yang Hansen, baby, let's get it.
y'all
Trying to see what's up. Yang Hansen, let's get it, baby. Edit that.
Drew's erosion was pretty palpable last season, and that's my concern there. Like, I think everything you said, Raja, about the off-court stuff, I think is true, and I think he's going to be great for that team, kind of spiritually, right, leadership-wise, and all that other stuff. But on the court, I don't know how much more he has to contribute, or at least at the level that we're accustomed to seeing.
Yeah,
But I
that's
like
fair.
the pick. I like the pick.
What I guess, all right, if I'm trying to make the argument again, like, and I'm not, what would they have to do? Like, what would they have to do to be considered like a successful kind of step forward for that organization? What, like, we talking about play in, just below to play in? Like, where would they have to go?
They won 36 last year.
Right.
And we're 3 wins out of the play-in. So I think significant progress means you got to somehow break the top 10. And like, I mean, here's the exercise of this time of year, guys, right? Who from last year's top 10 is falling out? And I'm looking at Sacramento as one likely candidate. I'm looking at Memphis as a possibility, and I'm not sold on Dallas. So there's the 3 vulnerable teams, I think. And San Antonio's taken one of those spots for sure, right? Like, the reason I didn't pick San Antonio as the sleeper pick is like, I feel like we're like post-hipster San Antonio at this point. Like, everybody's expecting the Suns, or excuse me,
Big
Spurs
Williamsburg vibes
to break
for
through.
Spurs.
Spurs are going to make the play-in at minimum, right? So they take the Kings spot. Let's say if Dallas or Memphis fall out, can Portland or New Orleans then crack the top 10? I guess that's the question.
Yeah.
Because I don't believe in the Suns, and the Jazz are just whatever.
Yeah. I mean, hey, San Antonio was supposed to go to the play-in last year. Like, if Wemby doesn't get hurt, that's probably the most dangerous team in the postseason, or at least in the play-in. You know, like,
yeah, I
don't know if it came out, but I picked Wemby to be my MVP this year. I just said, why not? You know, like, I think that he has that talent. He had the numbers last year to win Defensive Player of the Year, but the only reason why he didn't is because the new 65 game rule is hating. And so I think that this team is primed to do something. I think they could. Yeah. I think they can play their way out of the play-in. To be honest, I'd love the Spurs. I like the Spurs. They're really good. I think they're right on schedule.
We all expect them to break through. It's a matter of like, where do they top out at, right? Can they crack the top 6 and be an automatic playoff team, or are they working their way in through the play-in?
Yeah. All right, what we got?
Let's do. Y'all ready for the next question?
Yep.
Let's keep it in the Western Conference. Now, this team had a lot of hype this offseason, made a couple big additions. You know, this is one of my favorite cities. Logan, one of Logan's favorite cities. Let's go to H-Town, man. They got KD.
H-Town.
You know, made a couple additions, although they did
Logan's
lose Fred.
favorite Twitter friend, KD.
They lost Fred VanVleet for the season, unfortunately, but there's a lot of hype surrounding the Rockets. Are we sure that they're going to be a good team this season, or could it all just crumble apart?
I think they're going to be a good team. I do. I mean, I don't know that they have the same. I don't know that I'd put them in the same threat category to win a championship as I might have if they had a true PG. And I think personally, H and I talked about it when Logan wasn't here. Like, if they made some sort of move to address that, even if it's around the deadline, I'd feel better about that. But I do think they have the bones to be a high floor type of team. I don't think they're a low floor team. So, again, the question was, do we think they'll be to some degree what we expected, or will they just fall apart? I don't see falling apart as a real thing for them. I just don't.
I know Logan's just waiting. So like, let me repeat a lot of, or reiterate some of what Roger's points before Logan just goes to town on them. The Rockets are going to be legitimately good to great even without Fred VanVleet. And the question is simply, I think, about ceiling, right? They were definitely a top 3 team and a potential threat to Oklahoma when Fred VanVleet was healthy. They are probably not without him. Although, by the way, if you guys saw the Reed Shepherd highlights and box score last night, I had a text from a buddy this morning. It was like, I might have to reevaluate my thoughts on Houston. Somebody has to pop at that spot, right? Either literally at point guard, Reed Shepherd, or an acquisition during the season, or somebody else has to just take on those duties, whether that's running more of the offense through Şengün, whether that's Amen Thompson just, getting a bazillion pick and rolls per game and putting the ball in his hands a ton. And I think everyone's expecting Amen Thompson to take the big leap, and Şengün is still improving. There's a lot to like here, even before we get to whether or not Kevin Durant will play 60 games. But to that point, if you just think about all the possessions that Jalen Green could not handle late game situations that are now going to be in KD's hands, at least if he's healthy, that's a huge difference. And they're going to miss Fred VanVleet's big shot making in the clutch. But I think that's where you want KD, right? You want him to close out games and put the ball in his hands a lot. My 2 biggest concerns are, yes, who replaces Fred VanVleet, either literally at the position or just his production, leadership, ball handling, playmaking, shot creation, and KD. Durant, last 5 years, and this is adjusted for the one COVID season, he's averaged 56 games. He played 62 last year, 75 the year before, but he's averaged 56 over the last 5. So 60 games for KD is about the expectation, I think. Maybe he gets to 65 again, but that's a lot of games you're going to have to get through without him.
Logan, hold your thought real quick because I'm going to let you go. I want to just say 2 things to Howard. One, I agree with you. The Reed thing is interesting to me because, he's always been really, really talented and super skilled. And shot creation, point production, so on and so forth, could easily fill the void of a Fred VanVleet. Not easily, but you could see that. The rest of it requires a little bit of seasoning in terms of, the control of the pace, the knowing when to get the ball here. They're just things that come with playing a certain amount of NBA games that he will eventually get to, even if he's ready to step in and point produce right now, that might just take a little bit of time to get to him. The reason, just to add on to what you were saying with all the pieces that they have, I just think from a foundational standpoint, what they hang their hat on, tough, defensive, scrap for every, though that's a sustainable thing. That type of style solidifies your floor, if that makes sense. When you hang your hat on those things, it provides a nice base for you to start building off of. And so for all those reasons, I just don't see the bottom falling out. Logan, the floor is yours.
The floor that's falling out.
Yeah, the floor that's not going to fall.
Okay. I just think that I have a lot of questions about the Rockets in general that just need to be answered as the season progresses, right? We referenced KD, we referenced his health, we referenced how good he is in the clutch, but we haven't referenced the fact that the locker rooms that he has been in and has overseen over the last 5 years that you have suggested have been rocky, to say the least, right? And so he has a lot to prove in that department, both in his relationship with his coaches, which I've written about and he's gotten mad at me about. And, thus, we had a little Twitter exchange, whatever. But the fact remains that, he has clashed with coaches, and you can ask Raja how that Brooklyn locker room was towards the end. I could give you anecdotally and how the locker room was in Phoenix last year was pretty bad. When he clashed with the coaches, by the way, he had 2 coaches in Phoenix, had 2 coaches in Brooklyn because he didn't like who was coaching him, even though he handpicked him. So he has to figure out, how he moves forward, because he has a lot to prove on that end, right? His numbers are going to be what they are. But he has to galvanize a locker room, which is something that he hasn't done over the last 5-6 years when he's had the responsibility to do so. There is also the point of Amen Thompson. We got to see, it's not a guarantee that he's going to make the leap this season. I think that he eventually can, but also that point guard position is going to be a bit weird of an adjustment because he's going to be playing out of position. Now, I know he's played point guard in spurts, but he hasn't played starting level NBA point guard day in and day out. So that's going to be an adjustment while you're trying to make sure that his trajectory is going a certain way. So that's a question mark. And then when we get to the playoffs, like, I think Steven Adams is great. Is he going to shut down Jokic in that front line in Denver? I don't think so. And is Şengün going to do that? We know that's not going to happen because we know how he is defensively, especially when it one-on-one when it comes to the postseason. So I think that they're going to be a fine team. I think that they probably have a high ceiling, but I don't think they're going to reach it necessarily this season, just based on all the questions that I have. And on top of all of that, you're having, like, on paper it looks really good, but this team has to come together. Like, it's more than just what you see on paper to start a season. Like, they have this is the real big moment for Ime Udoka, and it's a real big moment for Kevin Durant as a leader. And if those things go right, then I think they'll be fine. But that is a big if. Those are my 3 cents.
I think they're a valid 3 cents. I mean, there's a few things. I think, what's interesting is, like, a player like Dylan Brooks, let's say, that's not there. The average fan probably doesn't realize what personalities like that antagonist, like, what they mean to the team when that guy is your guy, right? Like, when that personality is your personality, how much leadership that provides within locker rooms and stuff like that. I think that the last few stops for KD and the argument you just laid out, I can't speak to all of those places, but I would say this. I think that Ime Udoka and his style as a coach is one of the styles that can take a Kevin Durant and make up for maybe some of the things that you might leave, wanting in the leadership category from your star. I think his hand is heavy enough, like, he demands enough out of a team from what I've seen of his coaching career, that he makes up for some of that, right? Like, because he checks the locker room a little bit instead of, like, the players always policing themselves type of style. I do think KD provides a little bit of a safe haven for Amen Thompson to continue to develop. Like, you don't cast him all the way in the role of what you would expect him to maybe be 2 years from now. Do you know what I mean, yeah. Logan? Like, your point is well taken on the PG of it all. But, like, in a world where you threw him to the Wolves this year and said, hey, go get it, my dog. You need to be a perennial all-star right now. That's not always realistic. But having KD there kind of protects him in that space a little bit. So I could see that. I think your points, you have some decent points. Nobody stops Jokic.
Yeah.
I mean, like
sure.
you're just not fucking stopping him, right? So, like, I do think that they're gonna really have to figure out what that Fred VanVleet void, what that's gonna look like, and how close they can come to filling that void. I think is gonna, to a large part, determine what their ceiling becomes.
I mean, the problem with, like, the point guard by committee, right, is, like, that you putting a lot of people out of position. Like, a lot of people can play point guard for this team as currently constructed, but you'd rather have KD in the post than having him play point guard, which he can play at a high level. But it takes away from the rest of the offense, right? And then Amen Thompson, same deal, right? Like, he can play point guard, but it's not as effective as you would want it to be. But, like, to your point, man, like, I do think that, I hope that it does work out. But another thing that I would add on to that is, I don't think this, no matter what, even if the things happen that are supposed to happen, I don't think this is the year for them necessarily, because I think even if you throw Amen to the Wolves, I think they're working towards the future and next season, and when they can probably have some continuity, some continuity, if you will. But, like, this is take a significant step forward year. I don't think it's to take the significant step forward into a titles contingent year.
And yet, they just made a trade for a 37-year-old superstar who's one of the top 10 players of all time, top 12, wherever you want to rank Kevin Durant. But the time is now. And that's why when Raj and I talked about this a couple weeks ago, like, my feeling was, like, all right, cool. You've got this nice young core. You hit the gas. You traded Jalen Green and Dylan Brooks for a win now in his late prime player, Kevin Durant. He's got a year, 2 maybe left at an elite level. The time is now, and which is why, to me, you have to go get a Fred VanVleet replacement, because of everything we've just discussed now places all these caveats on them. And I don't think the answer can be what Logan just said, frankly. I don't think the answer can be, it's okay, we're young, we have a couple more years. Yeah, you do. But you got Kevin Durant for a reason, and the reason is to win right now.
I just think that's what it is. I don't say that's what they're planning for. I just think that's just what even if they trade for somebody else, I think that's just what it is. Like, they're still building, because they also traded KD for literally nothing. They traded him for Jalen Green and Dylan Brooks, 2 players they didn't want on their roster.
No, you're going to get Raja mad again about us going after Jalen Green. Careful.
I mean, I rock with Jalen Green. I'm just saying. I'm talking about that was their front office's thinking when it happened.
I'm just saying that the second you make a trade for a superstar in his twilight, you have just made yourself a win now team. Do they also have a post KD future? Hell yeah. But you didn't trade for Kevin Durant so that you could be good a few years from now after he's retired. You did this to win now.
I think they traded him, honestly, though. I think they traded him for him to just like, hey, see what happens. Because if they traded for him to be like, because they could, right? Mm-hmm. Because they still haven't committed to him long term, and this is basically a prove it year for Kevin and everyone involved, which is weird because Kevin is so great. Like, it's crazy that he's in this position to where he's like playing for another contract. But I mean, that's
all right. So we all agree that, like, probably as of right now, they're probably not now a title contender this season because of the Fred VanVleet injury, right?
I thought, but by the way, I thought so beforehand that they weren't a title contender.
Yeah, you were already a skeptic. Was on there. Yeah. Okay, so they're not top 3 necessarily. They're somewhere in that pack of teams chasing the top 2. But like, when you call them, when you consider them a potential like major disappointment, Logan, how low is that floor then? Are you saying like, oh, they're like now playing instead of playoffs?
I think they're like a 6 seed. I think it could be like a 6 seed.
All right, just curious.
Yeah.
Listen, I will just double down on, if there is a trade to be made, do it, because I'm. While everything you said might be true about KD, like, you guys are more connected than me in terms of like, hey, it's not going to cost us a lot to go get him. Let's see what happens with this. Howard's right. Once you have him, you are able to touch something that you otherwise ordinarily weren't that close to touching. And the question becomes like, what will you do within that window of time? Like, it's just the fact. So like, if there's something out there that doesn't, break your back moving forward, or, doesn't severely wreck the core that you hope to have if this doesn't work out, you have to play around the fringes to see if there's something that you can bring in to be a poor man's version, if you will.
Word. Good potting, guys. What's the next question?
Would this be an NBA pod without talking about LeBron James? Who's that? Should this be LeBron's last season, or should this be his last season with the Lakers? Now, we've seen LeBron do some side quests this offseason. He cut Kai Sinatra dreads. He's doing
he already talking about locker room dynamics with the other sex. Wilding.
It feels like it's gonna be his This feels like it's gonna be his last season.
Y'all not in these streets. It's fine. You guys don't stay in the streets that me, Cliff, and Victoria be at in the chat. You never mind. That's why we have a side chat.
This feels like his last season, but should this just be his last season with the Lakers, or should this be his last season as an NBA player?
It should be whatever LeBron James wants. I mean that. Like, it should be whatever he wants, man. He's earned the right to have this be a decision that he makes, and have it be on his terms. Now, the Bronny of it all comes into play. Like, what does he want that to look like? Is he trying to hang on long enough to a point where he could actually play on the floor if Bronny continues to develop and they can get on the court together? Like, all of that. I'm not in their camp. I'm not behind closed doors in terms of the decision making with that. But like, if LeBron says he wants a tour where we're gonna bring out like all of the gifts and shit on everybody's home floor and they're gonna wave a goodbye to LeBron, damn it, then give it to him. You know what I mean? Like, I think LeBron deserves to go out however he wants. As far as the Lakers go, that's always been the fascinating thing to me. Like, LeBron doesn't strike me as a dude who, maybe I'm wrong, and I don't mean to speak out of turn, but he doesn't strike me as the dude who would take whatever theoretically to be around, right? Like he's still like, yo, this is what I want. And at some point that's going to come up against the Lakers' plans. So what they have to do in terms of that, like I don't know. It might wind up that he has to do that somewhere else. I would hope that they could figure out a way for him to do it as a Laker. I personally wouldn't necessarily want to see LeBron as a
Charlotte Hornet.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like I wouldn't want to see that. If it were Cleveland again, I could see that if it was a retread maybe, but like I don't want to see it anywhere else. Personally.
I'm with Raja on the first part. It's LeBron's last season should be whenever LeBron thinks his last season should be. But on the part about whether this should be his last year with the Lakers, yeah, it probably should be. Like if he's still playing this time next year, it's getting harder to see it with the Lakers. We know what happened over the summer, right? They don't offer the extension, so he opts in. He's on an expiring deal for one of the rare times in his career where a team does not want to lock him up long term. They have tied their future, their present and future to Luka. LeBron, the Rich Paul put out the statement that made it seem pretty clear that they're like not entirely thrilled with the idea that they're on Luka's timeline instead of LeBron's now, and they want to win now. They had a pretty lackluster offseason. I'm not impressed with anything they've done since getting Luka. And the Lakers just kind of seem ready to move on. And Luka, by the way, since they're on Luka's timeline, Luka needs a co-star in his prime. Not a co-star at age 41. Going on 42 this time next year. He'll be months away from being 42. Luka needs a co-star in his prime. LeBron's salary, his presence, his persona, his just everything make it impossible for them to get Luka's new co-star. And they need one for the next 5 to whatever years. Yeah. So that's the mission for the Lakers now. We have our star for the next decade. Who's Luka's co-star? Because it's not LeBron. It is for another 5 minutes or so, but that's coming to a close real soon. So yeah, for everybody's sake, I think probably this has to be the last year with the Lakers. I think LeBron will still be playing somewhere, maybe not even in the US, but he's going to be playing this time next year. It's just but I don't think it makes sense for him to still be with the Lakers.
It's just been wild.
Did you say not? Sorry, Logan. Did you say not in the U.S., homie?
There's. I don't believe this speculation, but because he and formerly Maverick was involved, but Maverick's now out of this. But LeBron has been associated with this effort.
You think he's going to do a farewell tour in Saudi Arabia or Europe?
No, I absolutely don't. I'm just saying I am not going to ignore reporting from well plugged in people around the league who believe that there's at least a chance that LeBron would go play elsewhere after this season. I seriously doubt that myself. But others have made that point, and so I won't dismiss it.
I will. But the most attention-seeking player of the last, I don't know how long, is going to leave the United States to have a farewell, give that farewell tour to Europe.
This is why I just miss the Europe shit anyway, or all of this stuff. Yeah. But NBA superstars want to play in the NBA and in the US. They don't want to play overseas where no one's paying attention.
So it's been wild to see just this identity crisis that LeBron has been going through over this summer, right? Because it feels, honestly, I know he chose size on this, but it feels like the Drake situation, and he's like the Drake of this, where he's just trying old tactics for a very new world, and he doesn't see that it's a new world around him right now. He's trying to do the power move, not working. He's trying to assert dominance by missing practice to go on a stream, not really working. I think that when LeBron signed with the Lakers, I remember thinking, like, this is the first time LeBron has met his match in terms of leverage, because you're not going to out leverage a team like the Los Angeles Lakers with, the history that they have, the fan base that they have, especially at this time in your career where, I've made this point on other podcasts. I don't even think LeBron is a top 20 loved Laker of all time. I don't even think he's even in that conversation. Now he's going to get the treatment as such, but he's 20? Not. So now I don't think he's a beloved Laker.
Bente,
beloved
bro?
Laker. Beloved Laker. I don't think he's a top 20 beloved Laker. No, I don't think he is. I think it sounds
you got him like below Sasha Vujacic.
I think you put
crazy dog. What?
I think you say it's crazy, and then you count down the people that might probably have more love in the city of Los Angeles than him, and you'll see what I'm saying.
Like, there are a lot of Lakers. There are a lot of Lakers.
Okay.
But like I feel like he is going to, if he keeps up with this and doesn't like kind of read the room, he is going to overplay his coverage on this one, and he's gonna. For the most calculated star that we have ever seen is going to have a miscalculation. What he needs to do is just bite the bullet, say he's going to retire or just go along with what's going to happen, because you're not going to have a better retirement year than you would with the Lakers. I'm sorry. We already have proof of concept, not only with Kobe, with Kareem, with how they treated Worthy when he retired. They just do it the best. It's like if you retired as a Yankee. Don't overplay your hand to have a farewell tour with a team that doesn't, and a fan base that doesn't have any care about you, right? Like if you had like a farewell tour in like New Orleans, that's not going to play right. Like maybe you can go to Cleveland, but Cleveland right now isn't just some trash team right now. Like you're going to have to kind of fall in line, and then that's just going to be too big of a distraction to have like a LeBron farewell tour while you're trying to win a title, when every game it's like, oh, is it LeBron waving off into the sunset while he's trying to have a role on his team? It's just going to be really complicated. What he needs to do is just kind of look in his family don't want to leave LA. His people don't want to leave LA. He really doesn't want to leave LA either. So he just needs to look himself in the mirror, in my opinion, and just look at the writing on the wall and just at least support this team into getting everything that everyone wants.
Few things.
That's, I think, the thing right now.
Few things. I talk about this all the time. Almost everybody at the end misreads the room. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if you're a player of my level or you're a player of LeBron's level. You misread the fucking room. Like you just think like it's just the craziest.
You get reminded ain't nobody bigger than the program.
That's right. Like whenever that time comes, it comes. Yeah. I am with you in that. I would just say be cautious of discounting exactly what he means to that Northeast Ohio region, though. Like with you know, what he means to that town and his legacy there and stuff like that. While yes, it is kind of distracting, and they are
if Cleveland sucked, it would be a different conversation.
It would be easier. I'm saying though, even though they're a good team, don't discount what he means if he says, "Hey, I'm willing to come back and do it in a way that doesn't like hamstring our ability to win games." Here, but I agree with you in the Laker of it all. Maybe I didn't articulate it well. My question is, what would he have to do to continue to be a Laker and provide them the opportunity to go out and find that next star that Howard's talking about to pair?
He's going to have to do what he hasn't done in a long time, which is take less money.
Well, but that's what I said. Like, I don't know. That's what I said off the top. Like, I don't know if he's willing to do that, right? But like, what does that look like, I guess, is my question. Like, I'm not a big cap dude, or like, what would he have to say? Yeah, I'll play for what? Like 20? What do you have to play? Take a minimum? Is he playing for 10? Like, what's that look like?
I mean, no one's giving him the 50 plus next summer that he's making for the Lakers right now, right? So like he's taking a pay cut regardless if he's still playing in the NBA next season. It's just a matter of how steep and where.
Well, because then it becomes the whole like, you know, are you trying to embarrass me, right? Like for someone like LeBron, right? It's like it's palatable. I should speak for myself and not for LeBron. Like I wasn't LeBron, but like there's a level that is palatable, right? Like we understand this. Like, hey, dude, we're older. But then like for me, it was like the minimum at the time that I was a free agent last. I was like, because I didn't think I was a minimum guy, and the market dictated I wasn't, right? But like for him, what is the line and that would be disrespectful to him? And then, you know, I got lost in my own thought there for a second, but I agree with Logan. I want him to finish as a Laker. I agree with Howard in that the Lakers but the Lakers clearly, like LeBron's semi-viable this year, but like moving forward past that, you're going to have to find a better and younger, better is probably the wrong way to put it, but a younger, more able, more available co-star for Luka and it's going to become to LeBron. I think you hit the nail on the head, Logan, but I would just reiterate. Go down the list of dudes who are playing this late into their career, and I would bet you that there would be a super high batting percentage of dudes who have misread the room.
Bro, Michael Jordan had the perfect end to his career and was like, you know what? I think I got a shot.
Yeah.
I want to play Roger in preseason.
Fantastic.
So
All right,
LeBron's
next
finishing
question.
his career in Washington is what you're telling us.
Hey, that's not a bad place. If you know, you know.
Sorry.
Bron, don't do that, dog. Don't do that. Don't do that, dog.
All right, let's get to this next question. Let's talk about the defending champs in this league mission to have some parity. Would OKC going back to back be good or bad for the league's parity mission? Logan, take the floor.
I mean, let's just be real, man. The reason why the owners got what they wanted and stuff is so they can just stifle the players out of bread. Like, that's really all that happened, you know? Like, no matter how well you slice it, because I think this league is so smart, has so many smart people. There are going to be people or teams that win despite the rules, and despite what the league does to combat it, right? So I think it would be good for the league, honestly, if OKC starts to win, right? Like, I don't want, and I'm speaking as a fan, a longtime fan of basketball. Obviously, I cover it right now, but I've watched it my entire life. The league does the best. This is just what it is when there are dynasties, when there are teams that you continually see and players that you can continually market around, and there are storylines. We saw this with the Warriors. We saw this with the Bulls. We saw this with the Lakers. We saw this. The last time we had this much parity was the 70s, and we didn't even have, and they were playing it on tape delay. We ain't trying to have that. Everyone has spoken about the fact that we want dynasty. So, yeah, I want to see OKC run it up. Like, I want to see that happen because I think that overall has historically been great for the game. And they're also, like, I think that they speak to this generation. I've written about this. I think they speak to this generation in a way that I don't think a lot of other teams do. Like, I think Cliff and V would know this. I think the Shea and J-Dub, I think they speak to the kids in a very unique way. I think that the next generation loves this team. And I think that if they continue to win and bring themselves into NBA lore, like, I think that'll be good for the game.
7 champions in 7 years. If the league wanted to make a point about, listen, we think having uber parity is great for the league, cool. You've got a 7-year sample size now. I think it's okay for a team to go back to back. It's not going to undo the fact that this is an age of unparalleled parity that the league has effectively engineered through a succession of collective bargaining agreements, right? All the rules are designed now to force you to part with talent. That's why it's been really hard for teams to repeat that. You know, there's been some self-inflicted wounds there, but not only that, 7 champions in 7 years, including markets like Oklahoma and Milwaukee and Denver, and you've had other small markets make the finals. You've just had a lot of different teams make the finals, make the conference finals. Like, the parity is here and it's not going away, and it will endure even if the Thunder go back to back. So to Logan's point, I do think it's good for the league in general to have, like, a big bad. Everybody's either rooting for or against. And also, to the extent that you want casual fans to start to be familiar with the best teams, like, the Thunder were still a mystery to most of the country. Hardcore NBA fans, our listeners, Ringer followers, all know the Thunder well and knew this was coming. But there's a whole bunch of people out there who were like, wait, Shea who? Jalen who? There's 2 Jalens?
Do you think Marshawn knows how to say Shea's name right now? You think he knows how to say it?
Who?
Do you think Marshawn Lynch knows how to say SGA's name at this point? Maybe? No?
Reference lost on me. Yeah. So I just think that the Thunder winning back-to-back, now you've got a team that everybody can either be rooting for or against. But the public is fickle on this, right? Because as soon as the Warriors became a dynasty, it was like, oh, it's overload, it's too much, there's you know, the league's too predictable, we don't like the evil empire, whatever. But again, that polarization helps drive ratings to an extent because you're rooting for or against. So yeah, I think the Thunder winning back-to-back is fine. I don't know that it's a net plus or net minus, but I think it's probably a good thing.
Hey man, them ratings was some of the best when you had LeBron James and Steph in the finals every year. I'm just didn't do too bad.
No doubt. No need to beat a dead horse. I agree with you guys.
All right, what's the last question?
Let's close it out. MVP picks. MVP time. Tell me why. Who's going to be MVP this year?
Ooh.
I already said mine.
You got Wemby.
Got Wemby.
It's Jokic. It's. I mean, it
should have been Jokic last year. Wait, did I say that out loud? Oops, my bad. Excuse me. Oops.
Shea won it, and Shea deserves to win it last year, and I voted for Shea. I mean, I wrote this, so folks go to ringer.com. You can see where Logan explained his Wemby pick, and I explained my Jokic pick. But my Jokic pick, I noted, listen, he could be going. There's a universe where he's going for 6 straight right now. Like he won. What are you fucking like? What is that?
No. That wasn't that was like that's fucking nuts. Is what I was. That was like God
the
damn.
The expression on your
that
face was like I was like speaking.
No. That was like when LeBron went to 7 straight finals. Like that's fucking crazy. If he would have 6 straight MVPs, would be nuts.
So the years he's denied, like he could have won 5 in a row. Is the point? He's won 3 out of those 5. Denied by Shea last season. Denied by Embiid a couple years before that, and those were both like historic runs by Embiid and Shea. We don't need to get into the weeds. Stop that looking like that, Logan. We don't need to get into the weeds about how.
I didn't even say anything.
You just had this smirk.
I was agreeing with you when you said when you said he could have got 6 straight. Damn, that's crazy. It's like when Jordan could have had 6 straight MVPs in the 90s, bro. I would have been fucking crazy.
I think Embiid deserved his. I think Shea deserved his. But there's a universe where, because Jokic did not really falter. Jokic has been incredible throughout. Sometimes the Nuggets have faltered, and MVP races sometimes come down to win-loss records of your team too. Everything matters, including the success of your team. The Nuggets are going to be great this year. Jokic is going to be great because he's always great. Jokic never misses games. We know that the stats are going to be just stupid, otherworldly. And the Nuggets had an incredible offseason. They're going to be one of the top 2 teams in the regular season in the West. Like the table is set for him, for sure. And it's not to say that Shea couldn't go back-to-back. Not to say that Luka couldn't have a breakthrough. I don't believe in the Lakers, and I don't think the Lakers are a top 3 team in the West, and that's going to hurt his case. And Wemby's going to be on a lot of ballots, probably including mine. But for Wemby to win it, it's going to take more than just him like wrecking the league. Like the Spurs are going to have to finish top 4 in the West.
I don't have much to add. I mean, Howard, I think I tend to agree with you with Jokic. He just does so much. They're going to be good. He's going to fill. But I could definitely see a world where SGA and OKC, because I think they're going to be the number 1 team again in the Western Conference, and I think he's going to be upwards of 30 points for like the 4th, 5th straight year. So like, I think it'll be neck and neck. I would lean Jokic too. I think you made a great case for it. The only caveat would be like, how much use do you want him to like
exert?
Over the last, right? Like at some point, his brilliance, is what it is, but at what cost? Like in the playoffs, as he continues to age and continues to put these miles on his body. So if there was ever some sort of internal discussion about, right, because everyone's priorities change a little bit, right? Like we're chasing, MVPs or we're chasing championships, and I think he's been brilliantly able to kind of do them simultaneously. But if there's ever a conversation organizationally that's like, hey, let's get him a little bit more rest than we normally do. Let's kind of save him up so that he's got these legs more in the playoffs. I'm not saying that would happen, but if it did, then I'd lean SGA more. I think I tend to agree with you though on it being Jokic, barring that.
And they did pick up Jonas Valanciunas, and look, I don't think that means that suddenly like Jokic's minutes are going to drop precipitously, but like you do have a functioning center who can do a lot more than anybody else they've had in recent years, certainly more than Dario Saric. Yeah. Or DeAndre Jordan or whoever else they plugged in.
No, and like it's the number 1. It's the if you could check any box like preseason that would of 5 boxes that would ensure yourself having the best chance to win a championship. The first one every GM would first box every GM would check is health. Like let me take that. Give me that. Like sure. Let's put that to bed. And so there's a world where they not minute restrict, but just, hey, like be cognizant of how many minutes he's playing per game. Let's if we have a viable, backup.
I want to add to that. I think that I mean, Jokic is obviously amazing, but I do think that the MVP award is as much of a narrative award as it is a statistics-based award. And one of the things that hurt Jokic last year, despite those numbers, were one, OKC's record, but also the propensity of Denver to just take games off late in the season. Like that's something that they do.
That's not
right?
narrative. That's objective fact, Logan. Let me just push back on the narrative.
No, but it leads. But here's the thing, though. It leads to the narrative when you look at but it leads to the narrative of why another player should get MVP. It just does. And I'll just say my Wemby pick, for instance, right? Say the Nuggets, if like Jokic is putting together the crazy numbers that we tend to get numb to. Just the fact, right?
True.
And Wemby has a crazy year. The type of player that Wemby is and the type of narrative that could come along with that, I could see that with voter fatigue and a lot of other things going on, that he could take the narrative along with the stats to pick that award. And not just Wemby. SGA could also do that as well, or other players. I mean, we've seen, like, I know people try to say that voter fatigue isn't a thing, but that tends to happen throughout the years if you look at the history of the league. And I just think that, like, Jokic is going to put up the great stats, and he's probably going to be very deserving of MVP. I said he should have been MVP last year, but a lot of things that tend to happen with the Nuggets could work against him in ways that are fair or unfair. But I think that could come into play as a season, because, you know, like, from March on, MVP candidates are vying for position. That's really when the award is won, right? Is when the season is coming to a close. And I can see a world where the Nuggets are just like, you know, coasting. You know, we're in the 4th, 3rd seed. We know we can win a title. We know we can beat anyone, anywhere. We could have beat OKC last year with the record that we had in the team. We're chilling. We're working to the playoffs. And then somebody undercuts Jokic because of that reason.
I think that Jokic could actually have you said like voter fatigue. I think he could have voter rejuvenation this year. No, I do, because I think there are a lot of people. I think a lot of people voted for SGA. It was so tight, and I think a portion of those probably begrudgingly went SGA because Jokic makes such a great case. I think he could weirdly get a little voter rejuvenation this year.
For sure.
Longtime listeners and readers will know that I fucking hate the whole voter fatigue term. I've written an entire piece a few years back why it's bullshit, but I won't go into that rant here today. I'll just say that Jokic won years that he deserved to win it. There was at least one of those that I thought he probably didn't deserve to win it. But the guy's won 3 of the last 5. And if he wins this one, it's 4 out of 6. And if he wins 4 out of 6, how is that voter fatigue? And if voter fatigue just means, well, we don't want to give him to him back to back to back. Like, we've had plenty of back to back winners, including Jokic, including Giannis. Like, it's silly. Every year we've got a bunch of superstars who are having outstanding seasons, and then you have to parse it. And the fact is, the Thunder won 18 more games than the Nuggets last year. That was the deciding factor as much as anything. 18 games is a fucking huge amount.
Mm-hmm.
I love how Howard said he wasn't going to do the rant and then did the rant.
Yeah,
I did. That was like the 22nd version.
Textbook Howard. Read Howard motherfucking Beck and read that fucking piece. All right. You talked a lot of shit about Los Angeles, and we are going to be live from Los Angeles next week.
Live-ish.
Live-ish.
Not a live show.
It's going to be Spotify Ringer Core Week next week.
Y'all motherfuckers doing live shows without your boy, boy?
Well, you could. You want to stay up till 1 a.m. On Tuesday?
Negative.
After the Lakers, because you have an open invite. You will be there. Okay, so on Tuesday, me and Howard motherfucking Beck will be live from Los Angeles after the Warriors-Lakers opening night. Cliff and Victoria will also be there. And then next Friday, it will be all 3 of us. Me and Howard live from Los Angeles, and Raja beaming in from wherever the hell he's going to be. But make sure you guys tap in. It's great to be back. Man, it was great, man. I was miss seeing your faces, you know. Yeah, it was good to get back in the lab with you guys. That was another edition of Real Ones. You know what the fuck it is. It's Loki Boo, not the 2. Howard motherfucking Beck, Raja Bell, Big VV, Victoria, and Cliff holding it down every week. We will see you guys next week. All the shits. Bye.
But you 21 years and older and present in select states for Kansas, an affiliation with Kansas Star Casino, or 18 and older and present in D.C., Kentucky, or Wyoming. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rghelp.com. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut, or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 1-800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts, or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York.